Welcome to Tales from the Forecourt. Now today's story takes us back to 2011, the year William married Kate. There were riots across the UK and the year I sold a car that would come back to haunt me. Now it all started with a Dutchman living in Germany who came to the UK and part exchanged a lovely low mileage Mini against a high mileage Volvo I had in stock. It seemed like a straightforward deal at the time, but months later it spiralled into a saga of clocked mileage, huge losses and a vehicle making a very spectacular return to the UK. Buckle up, this is the story of haircuts, heartbreak and the type of motor trade madness you simply couldn't make up. So back in 2011, I had a car dealership and I didn't have a lot of money, had not been trading long and was very heavily reliant on third parties to stock my forecourt and underwrite part exchanges that we took in. An underwrite is where we take a part exchange in and we already have a trade buyer lined up for it so we can move it straight on and get the money straight back in the bank. At the time, from Mel, we had a Volvo XC70, very high mileage, ex-company car, but in superb condition, had done about 120,000 miles, was on the forecourt for around about £12,000. After a couple of weeks of it being in stock, we took an inquiry on it from a gentleman based in Germany. He was a Dutch guy and he explained he liked to drive right-hand drive cars because he'd learnt to drive in one and he had a Mini to part exchange, a delightful low mileage, bright yellow Mini Cooper D. We agreed a cost of change over the phone, a couple of £1,000, and we got the Mini underwritten. Now our landlord at the time was a car trader who dealt with a local car supermarket. We offered him the car, he gave us a firm underwrite, a price for it, and as soon as the customer was going to bring the car in, we would have moved it straight to the trader who would have sold it onto the car supermarket, and the chain goes on. Anyway, gentleman came for the Volvo. And what a lovely man. One of the nicest people you could have ever hoped to have dealt with. And he brought his lovely partner with him and they were just a delight, an absolute delight. They test drove the Volvo, they were happy with it, we had a look round the Mini, nice tidy car, didn't have any service issue with it, but was kind of understandable based on the fact that it had come back over from Germany, still on UK plates, and it was in really nice condition. So the deal was done, hands were shaken, photos were taken for Facebook, and off he went. We subsequently took the Mini straight over to our landlord, who then sold it on to the aforementioned local car supermarket. All was well, until about 7 or 8 months later. I got a call from the landlord. Do you mind popping over to see me? I need to talk to you about the car you've sold me. It sounded ominous, but we had a good relationship. He supplied us with a lot of cars, so over I went and said what seems to be the problem. What had happened was the car supermarket had sold the Mini to a customer, it had been registered into her name, and after about 6 months or 7 months of ownership, Mini had done a recall on the vehicle. The customer had subsequently taken the car into the Mini main dealer and while there informed the customer that despite the fact that the mileage on the vehicle was displaying around 30,000 miles, that 12 months ago the car had been into a Mini dealer in the UK and serviced in excess of 110,000 miles. It turns out the vehicle had been clocked. Customer was understandably very angry at this stage, took the vehicle straight back to the car supermarket and got a full refund for the car. Car supermarket contacted my landlord and got a full refund for the car. You can see where this is going, can't you? Landlord then spoke to me and got a full refund for the car. So where did that leave me? That left me with a clocked Mini with a ridiculous mileage that was worth about £5,000 less at that stage than what it owed me. Stupidly at this stage, I remember thinking, that poor Dutch guy who lives in Germany, who travelled all the way to the UK to trade it in, he must have bought a clocked car and had no idea what had happened. I ended up selling the Mini, took a massive blow on it, moved on with my life. That was until about another 7 or 8 months later, I took a call from another local trader. Jamie, I'm looking at taking a car in part exchange that you once sold. I just wanted you to let me know if it was a good car, if there was any issues with it, and if you can shed any more light on the vehicle for me. I said, okay, what's the car? He said, I'll tell you what, I'll forward you the email because I've got a gentleman from abroad looking to trade it in. I thought, oh, interesting. Anyway, when the email landed, guess what car was being traded in? A Volvo. A high mileage Volvo that we'd sold about a year before to a Dutch guy who lived in Germany. How did the trader know that we'd sold it? Well, he'd zoomed in on the pictures and our company logo was on the number plate. So he said to me, is it a good car, Jamie? I was like, do you know what? I remember it was a good car. And I remember the guy. We had a lovely guy come over from Germany who lived in, he was a Dutch guy who lived in Germany. Anyway, as I was scrolling down and looking at the details, I then saw the mileage. This Volvo he was looking to trade in now had only got 35,000 miles on the dashboard. Penny dropped. Penny dropped. He's clocked the Volvo. He clocked the Mini. The bastard. The bastard. So, first thing I said to him was, this car's not genuine. It's been clocked. Straight away, trader said to me, oh, I'll just get rid of the inquiry then. And then I thought, no, please, no. He said, what do you mean? I said, I'd like you to make him a big offer on the Volvo. An offer he couldn't refuse. He's like, what do you mean? I said, why don't you offer him overbook for his car? He said, well, but it's been clocked. I said, I know. And when you do the deal and he comes, I'm going to come and meet him. He was like, I don't really know how I feel about this, Jamie. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll stand on the car. Any issues, I'll buy the Volvo back if it comes. He went, right. I said, but I'm telling you now, this guy's a professional and we're going to have him. He went, all right. So what do you want me to offer him for his car? Why don't we have a look what it books at? Let's make sure we offer more than what any other garage is going to offer for it, because we want the car to come back here. I'm thinking at this stage, this customer's got some front. Not only has he traded a clocked car in to me, gone back, clocked another car, but he's literally looking to trade it back in to a dealer who's less than 5 miles away from me. This guy's brave, man. This guy is brave. So he said, what should we offer him? I said, offer him 14 grand for his car. He said, right. He said, well, my car's on at 20. So it's going to be 6 grand to change. I said, do it. Get the offer in. He went, all right, all right. I said, but don't let on. Don't let on. He went, all right, fine. So he subsequently offers the guy 14 grand. I followed him up a week later. I said, have you heard back from him? He went, yeah, he's kind of umming and ahhing. He said he's got a few more to look at and he's not sure if my car's the right car. I went, right. Now we've got to start reeling him in. I said, why don't you send him another message and say to him, you've got a customer interested in the Volvo, friend of a friend, and you're really, really keen to get it in. It's done perfect mileage. And I'm sure they're going to be thrilled with it. So he said, all right, what should I offer him? I said, go back at 15 and a half. Hit him at 15 and a half grand. This guy won't be able to say no. He won't be able to say no. It's like, all right, okay, fine. So he goes back to him. Heard nothing again. And then about a week later, he rang me and went, right. He's messaged me and said, look, if I can get to 16 grand for his, he's up for it. He's up for doing the deal. I was like, well, what are you waiting for? Let him know you can do it. He went, I already have. And he's going to be here Saturday. Come on. Come on. Come on. He said he's got the ferry booked. He's going to be at my site for about 1:30 in the afternoon. He's sent me a small deposit and he's going to pay the rest in cash. He's asked if I'm okay to take cash. I was like, this is perfect. This is perfect. I said, right, you need to ring me Saturday when he arrives. Now, at this stage, I'm starting to sweat. I'm getting like, oh my God, this is going to happen. So I've gone onto the system, I've printed the order form off, gone back on Facebook, got the picture up of him doing the handover, looking all happy, as he would have done, because he's clearly mugged me right off. And the trap's been laid. I woke up on the Saturday morning, I've got to tell you, my heart was racing. I felt excitement, I felt nerves, I felt butterflies. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I was ready for it. I was there for it. Anyway, half an hour out, I get the call. He's half an hour away. He's on the M1. He's nearly here. I said, you've got to wait till he's there. Wait till he's there. And I need you to let him test drive your car. And then once he's in the office and he starts counting the loot, that's the point you need to tell me we're good to go. So, gets the message, he's here, he's on test drive. Then I got the message, he's pulling back in off test drive. I jumped in the car at this stage and headed for this dealership. Anyway, as I got there, I pulled in, I could see the Volvo. I could see the Volvo. It had my number plates on it. I could see the Volvo. So I went and parked my car right in front of it. It was parked up against the hill. And anyway, I walked into the dealership, walked upstairs, and I could see my trader friend in the office. He clocked me and I clocked him. The Dutch guy who lived in Germany had his back to me. So I walked in, opened the door, shut it behind me and looked at him. And he looked up. And he looked again. And I could see the penny drop. I stuck my hand out. I went, how are you, buddy? You okay? Put the order form on the desk, pulled the phone out with the Facebook handover photo and went, how you doing, buddy? How's the Volvo been? Good car? Yeah. Looks like you've done something with the mileage. The colour drained out of his face. The colour drained out of his face. We went, there's a special place in hell for people who clock cars. What you're doing's illegal. It's against the law. Looked at the $4,000 on the table. Put it next to me. Right. And you need to go outside and have a think about what's going to happen next. Go on. Get out. Go and have a sit outside and think about what's going to happen next. He got up, shaking, went outside, literally sprinted through the dealership, got into the Volvo, did what can only be described as a 20-point manoeuvre, drove around my car and drove off as fast as he possibly could. I looked at my trader friend, he looked at me. Come on! Come on! He took two, I took two, and he looked at me and went, that'll serve him right. And the Dutch guy who lived in Germany got himself to Dover as fast as he possibly could, never to be seen on these shores again. So, what have we learned from this week's Tales from the Forecourt? Lesson 1. If a deal feels too good to be true, it probably involves a Volvo, a Dutchman and a dodgy odometer. Lesson 2. In the motor trade, what goes around doesn't just come around, it does a lap of Europe and turns back up with the same number plates on it. And number 3. If you're gonna scam, at least invest in a dodgy moustache and some comedy glasses so that I don't recognise you. So thanks for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and stick around for more Tales from the Forecourt, for more mayhem, madness and mystery of the motor trade life. Not even filmed it. What a of 100 and the and then the what am I doing with my arms?